Hey there. Today I want to talk to you about Optimum Page Style and a format for producing content. So this is a template that I'm putting together for a content hub that we're building for one of our sites. And we're using Semrush topic research tool to find good topics to write on. So we're focusing on the one hub, and it's on conversion rate optimization. And then so from that hub, there's lots of spokes, which are different pieces of related content. So the one hub page will be the focus for conversion rate optimization, and we'll talk about all of the pertinent topics related to that. And so for that, I'm putting together, I should mention too, I'm using AI content exclusively. So I'm using AnyWord AI, which I think is awesome. I just did the free trial and I just signed up for the basic plan. The basic plan is a really good value. I'm really loving the stuff that AnyWord gives. I'll probably do another video on that soon, showing all of the things that you can do with it. But here I'm going to go through this article and I'm going to tell you about all of the important parts that make an optimized page for several reasons: for good usability, good readability, scannability, to work well with certain featured snippets and rich content that you get in the SERPs, and also to work better with passage indexing. So let's jump into it. So first of all, we're going to talk about the page title. And you can see here, the page title should be close to 60 characters, including keywords and variations thereof. It should be enticing and clickable. So read, reread it, and optimize it. And I'll talk a little bit more in a minute about the Semrush content writing assistant and how that helps. Then we want a heading that should be pretty similar to the title. There's a lot of talk about should they be the same, should they not, and now often H1 headings will get displayed as the title in the SERP. I generally tend to make them fairly similar, sometimes with a subtle variation. So this is also very important, the heading. Next, we want to have, I like this format that Brian Dean recommends of Backlinko. So, you start with an outcome, a benefit, and then an introduction. So he calls it the Obi Technique. It's something that I use often, and it works really well for informational content such as this. So the outcome of the page should clearly communicate in one line what the key outcome is. So what are you going to get from it, from reading this article? What are you going to get? And you should highlight important points in bold. It's often said that the job of the first line of the copy is to get the user to read the second line of the copy, and I think that's very true. So the next line is the benefit. What are you going to get out of it? So not just what is your outcome, but what is the benefit to you? People generally want to know they're investing their time and that it's going to be valuable for them. So what are they going to get out of it? Again, very concise, one line, one sentence, and highlight the key points in bold. Next is a short introduction. This should be 2 to 3 sentences. Typically should be targeting 40 to 50 words, and that's important for hitting some of the featured snippets. So there's a lot of optimization and observation around that, where that shows 40 to 50 words is primarily where featured snippets are displayed. So having a good introduction at the beginning of the article that fits those parameters makes it more likely, it doesn't guarantee it, but it makes it more likely that you're going to get your content in the featured snippet. So next, imagery. You want to use an image. It should be custom. There's a lot of talk about that. Google has said that all things being equal, they'll favor something with custom imagery rather than stock imagery. It's not a make or break. It doesn't mean absolutely don't use stock imagery if that works for you, but if you can, I would recommend using some custom graphics, and I use Canva for this. I suck at graphic design. We have really good graphic designers working for us, but when I just need to quickly make something custom, I always fall back to Canva. I think it's awesome, so I highly recommend you checking that out. As always, make sure you have useful alt text And another one of the reasons for not just in WordPress picking something from your media library is the alt text and description likely won't be relevant to or directly relevant to the content you're producing. So next, we can use a little bit more of a detailed introduction, if necessary, not required. But if the short, concise intro before the image to hit the featured snippet doesn't quite cover everything you want to cover in an introduction, you can have an expanded introduction next. So this one's optional. Next, I like to use a bulleted list, or sorry, a numbered list, an ordered list. And the reason for that is severalfold. It's also something else that will make you stand a higher chance of hitting featured snippets in numbered lists. And so these numbered list items should be linked to the sections with a jump to or an internal anchor link to this section. And that is really useful also for helping search engines understand passage indexing, or how passage indexing works. So clearly defining which sections are relevant in the site, or sorry, on a page, is very valuable. Next, something that's often quite undervalued is scanability. It's kind of a hot topic right now. So people often don't really use white space as much as they should. So use as much white space as makes sense. Even a one line, a one sentence with then some white space is often okay. People really like to scan content as much as you'd like to think they read it in detail. They don't, they scan it. So make sure you have plenty of white space, and also make sure that you highlight any key points or benefits and keywords in bold. Again, this is another fairly hot topic right now. I can see Boldmageddon coming, where optimum bold rate is 30% or whatever, and it makes content horrible and unreadable. Don't do that. Same as keyword density. Make sure it reads right first and foremost, and then tweak and optimize as you go. So also another thing to consider. This is another one where trying to specify numbers is a little risky and tricky. Include internal links where it makes sense. Generally, as a rule of thumb, we say 3 to 5 internal links per 1,000 words, but don't take that as gospel. And think of Wikipedia. That's how to do internal linking. If there's something relevant, link to it, but don't try and force it. So that's most of the comments here. There's one final comment I have on this. So also use link out to external sites where useful and relevant. Some advise not to do that because you leak page rank and you'll lose some authority. Generally, don't worry about that. That is true and valid, but if it makes the content more useful for the user, that outweighs anything like that. Generally, you probably want more internal links than external links, and we don't want to go heavy with external linking, but wherever it adds value is useful. So that's my optimum page style for this content hub that we're working with. Next, I'm going to really quickly show you here what the Semrush content writing assistant shows. And I also have an example of some of the new features that it has. So I haven't even really gone much into detail working through this tool, optimizing it, which I guess is suggestive of why this is an optimum page style, because it's actually getting a really good score. So I ran the originality checker, and that moved my 9.5 score to a 9.8. And I don't worry too much about this number. It's nice to see a really good number, but I'm perfectly happy pushing out content that has a 7.8 score as well. So I was asked recently about this Rephraser, and let's take a look at it. This is a beta feature, so I think actually I've got to go find something first, and I think it does recommend somewhere. Yeah, so let's look at this. Let's go find some content here. Okay, yeah, so that is pretty casual. Let's see what the Rephraser makes of that. I have used this once. I wasn't blown away by it. Yeah, okay, we need more content than that. Let's just take this one. We'll see what it does. Rephrase this. if you're getting most of your traffic from one source, that's a great way to get started with conversion rate optimization. Maybe that was AI content too, by the way. So I got to read through this and optimize that. This is just an example page for creating the optimum content. So it rewrote that too. If you're getting most of your traffic from one source, that's a great way to get started with conversion rate optimization. This can be a great place to test and experiment with different. Yeah, okay. Again, not really too blown away by that. I think this does have a lot of potential. I don't know why it didn't really finish the sentence there, because up until that point, that could have actually been a good rewrite. This can be a great place to test and experiment with different types of features or different types of color or something. So it can give you ideas, but I don't think it's click button and done. So that I think still needs some work, but it's a useful addition to this tool, and I really like this Semrush Writing Assistant tool. It just helps you visualize it. It pulls out some useful things. So, um, the sections that should be rewritten is really good. It talks about adding links here and all attributes, which we would do in our article. Gives you keyword information. It tells you if you have any title issues that need addressing. It tells you about readability, and it gives you this nice graphical visualization of how the content is performing. So that is my Optimum Page Style for this Content Hub. Hopefully you find this useful, and let me know if you have any thoughts or questions on it, and I'd be happy to answer that. Thank you.